Yeah, MLB Data Warehouse. Where the spreadsheets flow and the takes get spicy. John, Tim, Doc, let's go. Welcome to the warehouse. Stacked to the ceilings. Exit below's flying. Launch angles got a feeling. Tim in the corner with the prospect report. Reading fan graphs, blurbs like it's soft court sport. Junior and double A, Tim's losing.
Yo, waiver wire episode. Should have picked a different intro because it's not Tim or Doc. It's me and John Allen. Season is going,
but it's still John. So
it's still John. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that still works. Yeah. Season's going. Games yesterday. My head is spinning, but I'm waiting for things to get all the codes working and everything, and we'll get in a flow, and I'll actually be able to enjoy it, hopefully. But it's weird. We're right into it. We're doing waiver wires. So the plan is to do an article every week. I know last year, I think the last couple of years, I've started this. The first few weeks, I've had a waiver wire article, and then I just haven't been doing it by June or July. The daily notes somewhat functions as that. I will always be on the lookout for guys to pick up. That's kind of the main thing you're doing in season fantasy baseball management wise is what's the point of talking about what Tarek Skubal did, or how many home runs Kyle Schwarber hit last week? That stuff is all good and well, but we're kind of daily focusing on breakouts and busts and stuff in roster management. So that's all during the daily notes during the week. So that's why I didn't feel too bad about giving it up. But this year we're bigger. We're more official. John is here to help. He's going to be one of the main waiver wire guys. So he'll have him and I, the plan is to do this every Friday, record this Friday afternoon, publish it Friday evening with an article. Don't worry. I don't want to make people listen to a 40, however long this is going to be, minute podcast, cramming it in if your waivers are Friday night or whatever. So I'll put out a little written piece with notes on it. So that's the plan. So anyway, John, how was your opening day? Did you get to watch? And do you have a favorite team? Who are you on?
I can't say as though I have a favorite team. It sort of has changed as I have moved around the country. But yeah, I got a chance to watch the game on Netflix. I had to see what that was all about. And then I caught most of the Dodgers Diamondbacks game last night. So haven't seen any good baseball yet, but I have seen baseball.
Yeah. I watched the Pirate game, of course, and that was stupid. But the big story. So let's get into the waivers. This is always tricky because some of you listening are wanting us to tell you who to pick up in your 15-team league NFBC main event or whatever. Probably not too many of those because you do your own work, but I don't know, maybe. I'm not even sure if the main events are 15 teams, but point being, there are people listening that are play in leagues where 400 players are rostered and they're all really good. And then there are people that DM me about their 8-team leagues. Should I pick up, seriously, I get asked, should I pick up Bryce Harper or maybe not that extreme, but it's what are you're talking about? You're going between two 200 players. So it's hard to thread that needle, but let's start with the low-hanging fruit. The instant wins, for sure, Connolly early off the top. So these guys are going to be all around. They're low owned. We're looking at mostly CBS ownership for right now. I'll probably try to pull up some OC online championship ownership as well, and we'll start to see the differences there. But some big names here that Sharp League's probably drafted or I picked up already. But Conley early is the first one, 60% on CBS. So if you're out there, what do we think about Conley early? We're gonna get a look at him this weekend, but it looked really, really sharp last year, and you and I both agree.
Yeah, no, and with all these, we have a series of young guys we're going to talk about here, and with all these young guys, it's all a matter of how the teams perceive them, and you should believe them when they perceive them that way. Yeah. And when the Red Sox decided to start early in a key playoff game, must-win playoff game against the Yankees, that told me everything I needed to know about how they felt about him as a pitcher. And I'm not surprised he made the opening day roster. I'm not surprised he's in the rotation. I'm surprised that they added all the other guys in there. But I know a lot of people were on Peyton Tolley and thought that he was going to be the guy that would make it. And he probably has the better stuff overall, but I think Early is the better pitcher. They kind of remind me, obviously not exactly the same because these are both Hall of Famers, but early in their careers, Tom Glavine and John Smoltz. Smoltz always had the better stuff. Glavine always was the better results. Connerly Early, lefty like Glavine, kind of has that feel of a guy who knows how to pitch and it's going to get you good numbers.
Yeah, 4 starts last year in the majors in the regular season. Where is it? At the new a 1.59 JA ERA, which is like our version of that's my very granular version of Sierra. It looks at swinging strike and ball rate and ground ball rate rather than K and walk outcomes. So easy one there. But again, like to put the point on it, I'm in an online championship on NFBC. He is 99% owned. So let's get them. Well, let's get through these obvious names first because we do want to call them out, right? We want to call out JJ Weatherholt. We want to call out Kevin McGonigal. We want to call out those two are very easy. Like pause the podcast, go get them right now if they're available. I don't think we even really need to talk about it other than to say like they're not locks. I mean, the easiest game to overreact to is the first one, and they both, McGonigal for 4 hits, Weatherholt hits a home run, DeLauder 2 homers. But I think that the 3 names we were all talking about in the preseason: Griffin, McGonigal, Weatherholt. So they should all be owned right now, but I'm not saying you have to hold on no matter what. Like it could turn south.
Yeah, and with all these guys, especially the young hitters, it's exciting to have them come up now, do well early, but there will be an adjustment point. If people remember back to last season, people were going gaga about Cam Smith, and he was great in April and most of May, and then he wasn't because they figured him out. So, and he never really made that adjustment. So that's going to be the key with these guys. Again, I think we both are of the mind that these young guys, great to have early in the season, but they may not have the staying power you want, which kind of leads me to one of the guys I want to talk about who was fantastic last night. And I did make a pickup of him. I have a 10-team work league. So that is sort of your equivalent to like, I generally don't play that small, but it's at work. So it was fun. And I picked him up right before the game last night. I was like, I'm like, he's going to play in Seattle against good pitchers. That's probably not good. But Chase DeLauder, the key to him is he needs to be healthy. He is currently healthy. And I'm going to say something a little crazy at the moment, but I think when he's healthy, he's probably one of the top 25 hitters in all of Major League Baseball right now. I mean, he can hit for average. He can hit for power. He has speed. I don't think they're going to let him run because of all his foot problems. But, I mean, when he's healthy, get him out there because you never know how long that's going to last. Yeah. 2 home runs last night was good.
You're a prospect guy, you're a Dynasty League player. So you're well aware, but a lot of people aren't. Like, I knew about DeLauder, and he made the debut in the playoffs last year. I didn't know how injury prone he was, but I mean, if we look at his minor league history, some of this is missing because my dashboards don't have like the super low levels. But DeLauder played 48 games in 2023, 36 in 2024, 34 in 2025. I mean, played like a month or 2 months max. But just career hitting, in the 500 plate appearances he's put up in baseball above A ball, 313 average, 519 slug, 13.6 strikeout rate, 10.7% walk rate, 18 homers. So that's a moderate home run rate. Coming out of the gate with 2 home runs will probably make people think that he's some crazy power hitter. Not sure if that's in there, but maybe it'll develop. But while healthy, seems like he should be owned. I shout out to me. I got on him. I did pick him up after he made the team in my 10-team league with my friends, of course. So I drafted Carson Benj and I picked up Chase DeLauder. Am I going to start Carson Benj against Paul Skeens? And am I going to start Chase DeLauder against Logan Gilbert last night? Of course not. So they were all on my bench. I benched Jake Berger as well. I benched 4 homers, a steal, and 5 RBIs between those 3. My starters hit no home runs with 1 RBI. So not a great start for me, but obviously, it was the right choice. So go get DeLauder. I would agree with that. Is he in the McGonigal / Weatherholt like must own category, or is he a step down?
I mean, he is for the rest of this month and probably into April, but banking on him to play beyond April is taking a big risk because, as you said, he plays about a month a year. So this is the month. Go get him.
This is the month. Yeah. 100% owned in the NFBC online championship. This will get easier after week 1 because there's no numbers to deal with. I haven't even had time to look at it because I'm doing the projections and all this stuff. But all right, who are the other? Carson Benj, home run. He looked terrible in his first 2 at-bats. I watched him. It was Skeens, so whatever. Like, Skeens couldn't get anybody out. He was struggling, and the defense didn't help him. But like, they were putting up really good at-bats against Skeens. His velo was down a little bit. And then Carson Bench gets up as the 8-hitter and, like, I think whiffs 3 times in a row. Like, looked really bad. And it was like, okay, maybe he's not quite ready yet. Whatever. This is what you get when you're watching one game. But then he hits a home run later and gets on base another time and steals a base. And he has that. He has both power and speed. Seems like the Mets like him. Sounds like he was going to make the team anyway, but Mike Tauchman got hurt. Does he play against lefties? I guess we'll find out next series. Pirates don't have any of those. But what's your read on that? Is he just the everyday right fielder? Certainly made a case for himself yesterday.
It was unique in that the Mets didn't really put much in his way. I mean, Tauchman he's a platoon guy at this point in his career and has bad knees, and surprise, he got hurt again. So I think they believe in Bang Jalad. So I don't see. He has a unique skill set in that he feels like a very 2020 kind of player because he has the speed and he has some power. He doesn't over top either side, but he's going to get you there. Again, I think he could have a good start to the season, but we'll see where he gets by the middle of the season because he's making a huge jump here from a 2024 first round pick into a 2026 starting player in the major league. So big jump.
Yeah, a little maybe an injury or something there last year, 116 games, but you see the 15 homers, 22 steals. So he did both of that. That's pretty close to a 20-30 pace. Not quite there, but 17%, or I should say 18% K for Benj last year, and mostly AAA, AA. I guess maybe mostly AA, but AA, AAA upper levels. And a pretty close walk rate to that, and a big splash right away. One more guy to... well, at least one more. Justin Crawford, right? Did he start yesterday? I didn't see.
He did start yesterday. Okay. There was obviously some blips going on all of the platforms because I was on Yahoo and I was like, do I need to put him in? Do I need to put him in? And he was starting, and then all of a sudden he wasn't playing, and I was like, what is going on? So early season jitters there from Yahoo. But yeah, Crawford is a guy who definitely is going to get you the speed. Power could come. And he's definitely a guy that if he is out there, I would get him now because even if you don't want him the rest of this week, you're going to want him next week because they're playing the Nationals who have no pitchers at all. And then they finish the week in Colorado against the Rockies, another team with no pitchers and a great hitting platform. Yeah. So he could spout off for some surprising home runs next week since they will be playing in Coors.
Good call there. 2 hits yesterday. So just the rookies were just eating it up. Sal Stewart had 3 hits.
Yep.
A couple other guys. I mean, Sal Stewart must be kind of even higher on because people kind of knew he would make the team the whole time. But anybody else that's just like these dudes that you should obviously pick up that aren't the most like interesting or whatever. The guys that are owned in these sharp leagues, but not maybe they're slipping through the cracks. I can't really think of anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, we have Cole Young down. He was a guy that wasn't sure whether he was going to have a job, given that he came up last year and then eventually got benched by the time they got into the playoffs. But he has rebounded this spring. He seems to have a hold on the second base job. He's going to be a decent hitter. He's not going to be a great hitter. I don't think he's going to have more than 12 home run power. I don't feel like he's going to have more than 10 to 15 stolen bases. But if you're in one of the deeper leagues, I think he's a guy you definitely want to roster, and especially if you're in a dynasty league, because he could get to a little more power as he goes. He's still only 22, so there's some hope still there.
He just has some highlights. I mean, he has hit some balls very, very far, and maybe that fooled me. I don't know, because I guess it's just I tweeted it the other day because he hit a bomb in spring and people were talking about it. Then I was like, that's the guy that I saw a home run off of, and maybe it was just a camera angle or something, but he just hit this ball that looked like it went 700 feet. And I had like an emotional reaction to it. But yeah, when you look at the numbers, Cole Young last year, this will actually include his day yesterday, but about 260 plate appearances. He's only hit 208 in the majors, 5.6% barrel rate, 594 OPS. That's bad. The good news is strikeouts aren't a problem. 19% K rate. Just the quality of contact hasn't been great. The max EV is fine, 114, but it hasn't been consistent, 102.7. 90th percentile EV, which is not great, but he obviously can hit home runs because I don't know, he's hit some absolute tanks. My projection model, for whatever reason, really likes him. He's going to be like at the top of the DFS stuff and the waiver and like the streamers, whatever, for a while, because my like skill projection on him based on what he did in the minors is really up there. So that's probably, you know, if you need a second baseman, which probably a lot of people do, he's available even in the NFBC leagues at 18% owned there, only 11% started. So he's widely available. Maybe not, you know, that was my guy I put down on the list, maybe not the most, the sharpest. But yeah, I guess until we'll go through this list and then I'll kind of thumb through the numbers to see if I can find anybody else. But you wrote down Nick Gonzalez. So you can give us some insights on that.
So obviously this is for the deeper leagues. We're talking 15, 20 team leagues. Nick is going to be starting at third base, which I thought was a little strange since he played mostly shortstop last year. But the Pirates are doing a little reconfiguration of their infield. I think he starts at third base until Connor Griffin is ready to come up, whenever that is. And I would imagine probably be sometime end of April. So this is not going to be a long-term fill, but Nick was a top first round pick in the ill-fated 2020 draft, 7th overall. He was a guy who seemed to have not great power, not great speed, but he could hit for average. He still has yet to be that hit for average kind of guy, but I'm willing to take a chance on him if I need somebody to kind of hold a spot for a while. He has usually second base and shortstop eligibility, and obviously he'll be getting third base here pretty soon. So if you're somebody who is waiting on like Anthony Volpe to come back, this might be a good pickup to grab, at least to fill in for the month that you need.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think he is fast. He can run, but the stolen bases haven't been. They've been there. They can do that. Last year, 260 expected batting average, about that. And yeah, I mean, a lot of this game for the deep league people are just kind of like finding bodies that are in the lineup that can do something, right? Just don't be a I see Yohan Moncada on my screen. Like, take that example. Like, okay, he plays. Maybe not. It's not the best case for this year. He doesn't. But in the past, like, you want somebody that is going to play every day, but not if they're doing everything poorly. But if you can find like a guy with one skill, how about like a Victor Scott? He stole a couple bases yesterday. So maybe that's how we should do this in the future, to kind of go category by category. But he stood out. Like, if you need some speed, if I don't know, if somebody, you had a speed guy and he got hurt or something like that, like Victor Scott is kind of going to play by default, and he can steal some bags.
He should be the starting center fielder for the Cardinals, that's for sure. He got off to a good start last year and showed a little bit of power in April and May, and then just hit the wall. Super power. No power, no nothing. Still gets you the steals. So if you need steals and you're not worried about slugging percentage or OPS, then you're good with Victor, but he's going to hurt you when it comes to all the power categories. Another guy probably a little further down the line, and Austin Martin, who is playing in the outfield for the Twins. Who knows how long he'll be there. Definitely a guy that I thought was going to be a heck of a player when he came out of Vanderbilt, and the Blue Jays got rid of him pretty much as soon as they could the next year. So I guess I should have known right then there was something wrong with Austin Martin. But again, not any power there, but he did steal 11 bases last year in only 40 to 50 games. So he's a guy that you could see maybe doesn't play all the time, and he's on the short end of a platoon, but they will send him out there to steal a base or two. So if you're really desperate for stolen bases, that could be a guy to fill.
Speaking of that, David Hamilton started for the Brewers yesterday. He's a speed demon. He is 3% owned on CBS. Got a 0 on ESPN and Yahoo. That's probably not true. It's probably just the mechanism like rounded down or didn't find him or something like that. But yeah, he's widely available, and we'll see. It's one game. I don't know what they'll use him if he's a platoon or somebody's hurt or whatever. But David Hamilton's a guy that stands out for steals. Let's go to Dominic Smith here. You have him at the bottom of the list. He's another he's available everywhere, but stick to hitters.
This is desperation only for those of you looking for a corner infielder, or maybe he still is eligible in outfield in certain leagues. Somebody's got to play for the Braves. I don't know that any other team has been more injury suspended, ravaged than the Braves. And Smith, back in 2021, everybody was all fired up about him because in the shortened 2020 season, he had 10 homers in 50 games, and they thought, this is it. He's taken off. He was a first-round pick for the Mets. It seemed like he was going to be somebody, and the next thing you know, he's below the Mendoza line and getting released. He had a pretty decent half season last year with the Giants. Not a great park to hit in, but still he hit pretty well. I could see him being on the strong side of a platoon, especially the first half of the season until maybe Braves get some of their players back. I don't know. Somebody's going to have to hit the ball down there. So if you want to take a lottery ticket, give Dominic Smith a try. If you're, these are definitely NL only or 20 team plus leagues that you're looking at him, but that's an interesting guy, at least in my mind.
Everybody has tried it at some point, right? If you've been playing baseball for 7 years or whatever. He hit 284 the last year, 750 OPS. I mean, the offensive numbers haven't ever been terrible, but maybe it's just kind of a platoon thing. How about another Dominic Canzone, platoon dude, but we're talking about deep leagues. I wonder what his ownership is in like the really competitive. We got 49% in the OC.
Yeah, a lot of people were definitely on him as a potential sleeper. Again, I think he's going to struggle a little bit with the platoon side of things, but at least he's on the strong side. He had, I think he had a home run last night. So you don't love the home park, but he did well there last night and has had some success there in the past. So maybe not quite the power negator that it is for most players. So and another guy who hits the ball extremely hard. So when he gets it, he gets it.
Yeah, 50% owned even in the OC right now. It's just that it's better for if you're in a 12-team league where you can change your lineup every day and you have like 5 to 6 guys on your bench. He's pretty great there because you can just put him in against righties. He's not going to play against lefties. It's Rob Refschneider there. That's the whole reason they went out and signed Refschneider. So, that kind of takes him out of contention for the weekly leagues where you set one lineup for the week because you're going to not have him for 2 days. But at the same time, he won't be in there to face lefties and strike out and lower the average. So I think you'll probably end up looking at like a really high OPS. The ratio stats are going to look really good for Canzone this year. And if you're in a league where you can take advantage of that and just get some other player in, I don't know, maybe do the Mariners thing on your fantasy team. Talk about a deep league strategy, right? Take Canzone and take Refschneider. And you got, those two, when you put those two guys seasons together at the end of the year, it's going to be a very productive DH or outfielder, whichever they choose to do. It was Canzone at DH last night. Refschneider, I think, is actually decent outfielder. Canzone doesn't do that. So there's a little idea for deeper leagues. Hitters, we're going to move to some relievers and stuff, but I just wanted to kind of fly through just some under 10% owned hitters that actually played yesterday that pop out to me. So Jorge Soler, ugly, Angels, whatever, but he's going to play. I think he hit cleanup or 5th yesterday. So he can still hit some home runs. Batting average is going to be bad, not going to steal any bases, but there's some power there. Jake Bauers, another platoon guy, hopefully, right? It's not even a guarantee, but the Brewers last year used him and Vaughn against lefties, Bauers against righties. I think, Vaughn got in there at DH or something as well against some righties, but they like Bauers against righties. He homered yesterday. David Hamilton mentioned him. Carson Williams made the team. The Rays didn't want him to, but he's the Rays shortstop, a elite defensive shortstop, but they were initially going to send him down until an injury happened. Forgetting who that was.
Taylor Walls. The immortal Taylor Walls. Like that's some guy they should keep a prospect from playing in the major leagues.
Yeah. That guy must have something on ownership or something. So Carson Williams, he's probably going to hit 150, but don't be shocked.
You could hit 2020.
Yeah, right. That's what
if you don't mind your 2020 with a 175 average, you're good.
Yeah, if you got somebody that can balance that, Carson Williams is going to be pretty much free. Well, what's he in the OC? I would guess like 10%, 20%. The answer is
I think when you got options down
6%.
Yeah, I would imagine it's pretty low.
But again, total batting average killer, probably not advisable. Brett Beatty, and he's a guy that'll be a lot higher owned in competitive leagues, but he had, I think he was the one who hit the 3-run triple that should have just been a routine flyout in the first inning yesterday. But good to see him in the lineup for the Mets. And man, that's a good Mets lineup. Like Beatty's not going to be in the top 5, but there's going to be extra opportunities with all those studs ahead of him and plenty of RBI opportunities. And I like his ceiling as well. Brady House here, probably not, but he hit a home run yesterday. He's always had power. Nationals are going to need to test some
Brady House.
Yes, another guy that we've all been familiar with. And I don't know, Rhys Hoskins hit a career high EV or something. He bested his 2025 max EV yesterday. So he caught on with
Cleveland,
thank you. So it took him a while, but he got there, and now he's in the majors, and he again hit a ball very hard yesterday.
Yeah, he definitely struggled with injuries last year with Milwaukee, and obviously at the end of his Phillies career, he would have had injuries all the time. So again, we'll see how far this goes. Cleveland seems to have a lot of these injury-prone guys, so this could be a very different looking Guardians team in the second half of the season. But Rhys has got some talent there. We'll see. Again, as long as he's healthy, I think he has a chance to be a good replacement level player for teams looking for a corner infielder.
He's always been able to walk a little bit, so OBP leagues maybe a little bit of a plus there. You know anything about Nathan Church? I don't think I'd heard of this guy.
Yeah, Nathan Church was on fire last year, and I think started off in Double-A, ended up in the major leagues for the Cardinals. They thought, he's a guy that's a try-hard guy. I don't know that he has any spectacular skills, but he doesn't do anything not well. So he's the kind of guy that ends up on your roster, probably ends up being your 4th outfielder if you're on a good team. But we'll see. The Cardinals, not exactly a great team at the moment. So he'll have a chance. And he is at that prime age, 26. So if it's going to happen for him, it's going to happen this year or next.
It's kind of a red flag that you get to 26 before you finally get a chance. But yeah, these are the minor league numbers on the screen. If you're watching, 384 plate appearances last year, so about a half season, but 911 OPS, 13 bombs, 16 steals. Like that plays. In the majors, 27 games last year with the Cardinals, 504 OPS, 1 homer, 28% K, so it did not go well. But played yesterday, got 3 hits. Yep, 3 for 4 yesterday, a run and an RBI, all singles. So another deep league dude to mention there. Let me write that down so we can put this all in the – who did we just talk about there? Nathan Church, Carson Williams. All right, we'll try to – I haven't done the thing. I wanted to take notes and make this real easy on myself, but we're going to get I'll come back and listen to it and get the written stuff out. The plan will be to publish this all Saturday morning, I think, or if it's ready, then why not Friday night? But we got some relievers here. This was all your work. You started with Cole Sands.
Yes. So a lot of my teams, I am focused on what relievers can do for me because I play in a lot of leagues that are, save and holds, whether that hold is a half a hold, a third of a hold, or a whole hold. I think they all still have value, and I am not a guy that invests a lot of money in my starting pitching. So I'm usually looking to fill spots with relievers. So Cole Sands was the guy that stood out to me, especially in Yahoo leagues, because he is starting pitcher and relief pitcher eligible. So there's nothing I like better than to have a relief pitcher I can throw into a starting pitcher role, especially if I have 5 starting spots. That way I know I'm getting something out of him pretty much every other day, as opposed to once a week, or now with these 6-man rotations, definitely only once a week. So Sands could be the closer for the Twins. It's still up in the air as to what it's going to be. So, but at the very least, I think he's going to be a guy who's in the 8th or 7th inning. He's going to play some important roles in there. And I'm actually okay if he's not the closer, because I feel like the holds opportunities will be much greater than the save opportunities with the Twins.
They didn't commit to a closer. They asked Shelton about it, the new Twins manager, and he said whatever. So it's not Taylor Rogers.
Exactly. I love that plan.
Yeah.
You've only had almost 2 months to look at these guys, and you still have no idea who's going to be.
Or he just doesn't want to tell us. Like the Red Sox. To go back to Conley early, they had to know, right? They probably knew that they were going to go early, but they just had to. I don't know. Yeah. What's the point of What's the point of? It's not a football game plan where you really don't like the team will find out who the pitcher is going to be. I don't know, but Maybe just for player motivation, they didn't want Oviedo to feel like I don't have a chance. Yeah, Carmen Mlodzinski. I can spell Mlodzinski without even looking. Shout out to me. Like,
now that is impressive.
Yeah, he's not a reliever. Probably will be, but he's going to make a start for the Pirates, and you have him on the list.
Yes, he's not a reliever at the moment, but I think we all look at his numbers and we're like, that guy's a reliever. And I'm pretty sure you put out something not too long ago about how he had an incredible pitching marks when he faced a batter once. When he faced him twice, it definitely went down. And the third time was a no-go. So I don't know. The Pirates seem insistent that he's going to be a starter. So
I don't get it.
I think he's the third starter, is he not? Isn't he starting?
Just got lined up. Yeah, he's going to start against the Mets Sunday.
Okay.
Would not recommend, but after that, maybe. And they've always liked him. He was a top draft pick for him, and he's a very good reliever, and he's got that length. It wouldn't be a shock to see if he could actually have some success, but I wouldn't do it this weekend. But after that, keep an eye. And then if nothing else, you get some decent relief out of him. Might even like that better.
Yeah, I think he's one of two sneaky starting pitcher types to get as a reliever. I didn't have him on the list, but Tyler Wells for the Orioles is a guy who was a starter pretty much since he's been with the Orioles, and they are moving him into the bullpen. And with the seventh and eighth inning pitchers now injured for the Orioles, he is definitely moving into a spot where he's going to see a lot of holds. So Tyler Wells, another guy to put on there as a starting pitcher who's going to get relief role opportunities.
Cool. Yep. A lot of these pitchers are going to come up. Lots going to change. We'll be having a lot more to work with data-wise in a week. Steven Okert, Austin Martin, Eric Sabrowski, 3.
Yes.
Austin Martin, we already mentioned him, right? He's the outfielder. So never mind. Steven Okert and Eric Sabrowski, 2 setup men, 7th inning.
Yeah, Sabrowski is a guy that I jumped on last year when he came up with the Guardians, a left-hander. So that's always a good thing to look for in a relief pitcher because he's going to have more opportunities to get out there. But also a guy who's fairly young in the reliever game. He's only 28 now. And last night was very interesting because they put Sean Armstrong, a free agent they signed from Texas, into the game, and he struggled a bit. And they put Sabrowski out there as soon as possible right after that. And he struck out 3 of the 4 batters he went against, looked strong. He is a guy that gets strikeouts. So if I can get a lefty reliever who gets strikeouts, I'll take them all day. And I think he's a guy that if you don't have him, you better get him as soon as possible because I think he's going to be the 8th inning guy for Cleveland, especially with Hunter Gaddis out. And Okirk, I think, is also taking advantage of an injury. Josh Hader being down for the Astros. Okirk, not a young guy, 34, soon to be 35. But he, again, is a lefty. They already do have they're very lefty-centric in Astroland. So beyond Hader, Brian King was their 7th inning guy last year. So he's back. And then you have Okirk as well. But what I like most about Okirk is that he's going to get the usage, and he also has a very nice 30% K rate, which is what I'm looking for in my relievers. I want to get as many Ks out of them as I can because they're going to get limited innings compared to a starter. So Okirk is an interesting guy. He had 10 holds last year. I wouldn't be surprised if he had 20 this year.
OKERT for help. And Mlodzinski is MLODZINSKI. If you're looking for him, all you got to type is ML because what other name starts with ML?
That's true.
He'll immediately. But you wouldn't get his name is like it wouldn't sound like an ML. It'd be like Molodzinski if you were just phonetically saying it. But how about that's it. That's the end of the list. I'll write this up and we'll have more data. We'll have more data, more stuff on the screen in the future as we get data filled out. Just one thing I was just looking at. I pulled up ESPN League. I looked at like the recent changes. Mike Trout is 78% owned on ESPN.
Wow.
How does that happen? I mean, I don't understand that. Like, I get why the bad ownership happens because there's these leagues that people do just for fun at the draft, and then everybody bails on it. But how was Trout not taken in all of those leagues?
The only thing I can think of is that people are scared because with Soler back, he's the DH. So that means Mike Trout has to play. So how long is he going to play until he gets hurt?
Not own him at all?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard times there. Speaking of not own, there were two guys that we put on the list that I wanted to point out as my ode to Frisman Jackson. Now, I'm sure nobody knows who Frisman Jackson is, and it's because he was with the Cleveland Browns football team. And in 2005, the first game of the season, he catches 8 passes for 128 yards and a touchdown. And that week, he is like waiver wire pick number 1. Only one problem with Frisman Jackson, and the reason why you don't remember him is because he had 1 career touchdown catch his entire career, and it was that game. So there are 2 guys yesterday who got saves. I wouldn't go run out and pick them up, although I definitely saw lots of people in my leagues running out and going to pick them up. Jordan Romano, Angels, blew out his arm multiple times with the Blue Jays. He was the guy. I loved me some Jordan Romano from 2021 to 2023. He had a fastball average velocity of more than 97 miles an hour when he was a stud. Last year it was down to 95, and he had an 8 ERA. Yesterday it was 94. Don't fall into that trap, and do not go around there and get you Jordan Romano. The other guy, Cardinals yesterday. I don't know what was going on, but they had the ball on a tee or something because the Rays had 17 hits somehow. Anyways, Ryan Stanek comes into the game.
Here's how it went.
To be the closer because they had run Riley O'Brien out there already for an inning plus, and Jojo Romero. I don't know what they were doing there. Maybe they were playing something odd. But anyways, they basically burned through their entire bullpen. So therefore, Stanek was the last guy out there. He had to be the guy to come out and close. He walks 3 guys, but he gets out of it. That is not a closer. Do not fall for Ryan Stanek.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was Liberatore for 5 innings. Matt Swanson comes in, immediately tanks everybody who took a speculative shot on him. This Cardinals thing it's just so funny because everybody was like debating Swanson, Romero, or O'Brien, and then the first one out for a save.
And none of them gets the save.
But it does seem like O'Brien was used maybe in the leverage spot, and he cleared. He was their most valuable reliever yesterday. You could say 1.1 scoreless, no walks. Stanek had 3 walks, like you mentioned. But then Swanson in the game in the 6th inning got 1 out, gave up 3 runs. It just got ugly, weird game. It was like 95 degrees in St. Louis. I had the over on that game pretty easily. I don't think the weather has much to do with just a million hits, but whatever, win's a win. So yeah, that's it. We'll do this every week. We'll have a podcast and a written article. The article will just be like mostly just the names. And if you want the details, you can listen to this. But that's it for us. We'll be back next time. Thanks, John, and we'll have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks for listening. Peace out.
Big Data Warehouse, yeah, we bring the spree. Prospects, DFS, betting strategy. John's grumpy, Tim scouted like a man possessed. Doc drafting comeback stories better than the rest. But the tools are elite and the content's free. And your fantasy trophy gonna look prestigious. ML.